Next up is one of Clash Royale's most confusing designs in recent memory, the Rune Giant. Added on January 6th, 2025, she was supposed to be a fresh take on the Giant archetype, introducing the new enchantment mechanic. In theory, it sounded awesome, a tank that empowered your troops as she marched forward. In practice, though, the launch was messy. She was so weak on release that she got an emergency buff just a few weeks later, turning her into what was basically a spell disguised as a troop. Instead of being the main threat, players started using her purely for her enhancement effect, dropping her just to buff troops behind her. Cards like Hunter, Firecracker, and especially Ram Rider could suddenly melt towers while enchanted. It was genuinely wild for a bit. Rune Giant pushes could delete your whole defense if you weren't careful. And if you aren't careful...
Wasn't Rune Giant good and then they just nerfed it into the ground again?
Well, you might forget to hit that subscribe button while you're watching the video. I know, bit corny, but seriously, these videos take a lot of effort to make, and your support...
Yeah, I'm sorry.
...support helps out way more than you think it does, so thank you. Where was I? Alright, right. The Rune Giant being incredibly overpowered. So yeah, Rune Giant could absolutely obliterate towers, and to combat this, Supercell had quickly toned it down with a couple of maintenance updates later that month. They made it so that the damage boost was split between projectiles instead of applying to every one, and prevented attached troops from passing on the enchantment to others. Then in March of 2025, they hit her with a big nerf, an 11% HP reduction, and a limit that removed her enchantment 5 seconds after she was defeated. That completely flipped her identity. What was once a flashy, overpowered concept suddenly became a weak support tank that doesn't really do anything well. Since then, she's only received one small buff, a 6% HP increase, but even that didn't matter. The Berserker has become one of the most dominant cards in the game, and on paper, Rune Giant should have been the perfect partner for her, but despite that synergy, she's barely seen anywhere. The biggest problem with the Rune Giant is how dependent she is on other troops. You have to commit a ton of elixir to get any value from her, and even then, you're gambling on her surviving long enough for the enchantment to even matter. On her own, she's just a mediocre tank that hits...
Yeah, it's like the only troop in the game where like the only way to get value is to spend 20 elixir next turn.
Soft, moves awkwardly, and dies too fast. There's no real reason to pick her over Giant, Electro Giant, or even Monk if you're looking for that frontline role. A simple change that could genuinely help her is slowing down her movement speed. Right now, she moves at a medium pace, which makes it really hard to build a proper push.
That is true, bro. If they made her slow, you could stack up stuff more.
If she moved slower, she'd naturally survive longer, allowing your enchanted troops to actually get value instead of losing the buff halfway across the bridge. It'd make her feel more strategic, like a real enabler, not just an expensive gimmick.
She would take actual like brain cells to use though, which means she would probably never get used because Clash players literally despise using brain cells.
Maybe, just maybe, she deserves an evolution, something that doubles down on her support identity.
Alright, is this guy like a gooner? I mean, oh my god! For the Evo Rune Giant, he just made her hot?
In nearby troops or extends the enchantment duration when she's destroyed. Anything that gives her a defined role again, because right now she's caught in this weird spot between a tank and a support, and in Clash Royale, being almost two things usually means you are nothing at all. And this one is just sad, because